cousin.
Hi, cousin.
Welcome to Calling Cousins. This is Cousin Ash calling from Arizona. We want to thank everyone for joining us today.
Cousin Shaw here, calling from Colorado. Being a grown-up is overrated. Hopefully we have some beneficial advice on how to guide you in the right direction with our Adulting 101 section of our podcast.
Yep, being an adult is the dumbest thing I have ever done. All right, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about how times have changed. We have our grandma on with us. So,
Yeah. Welcome, Grandma.
Well, thank you, you guys. I love you guys. My
We
granddaughter.
love you too.
Yeah. I'm so happy to have you here. We wanted to know just stories about your past, and I was Googling things the other day of like, what would I ask my grandparent, if I didn't have the chance anymore. And so I was like, you know what? We have our grandparents and we're going to ask them questions now.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I mean, and we reference you all the time in our podcast because it's always like when we're talking about jobs and stuff, you always say these things that we remember, just so you know. We remember them and we always quote them back. So it's like, I think we've done it at least 5 times on this podcast where we're like, oh yeah, our grandma always says, oh, I don't think we reference the chocolates, but we can jump right into that story because it's one of the best.
I want to know it now. I can't think of it.
A good life lesson. Ready? Go.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So my very first job, I was 14 and I worked at Fanny Farmer candy store. I mean, it's the best candy. But I don't even know they're around anymore. But I'm a packer. I pack candy into boxes. And they told me I could eat all I wanted. So
I'm envisioning I Love Lucy right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I would pack one and eat one. I am a chocoholic. And pack one and eat one. And after about 3 days, they fired me for eating too much chocolate. But I learned moderation. I learned a lesson from that,
Oh, Grandma, imagine if you still worked there, how big you would be. Like that would be unhealthy, the most unhealthy job ever for you, I think.
Did you ever
I was probably 80 pounds at the time. Only 14.
I was gonna say, did you ever track to see how much weight you gained while you were there?
I didn't gain any. I was just a kid, and only 3 days of chocolate. Yeah,
3 days.
Yeah, and then so my brother worked there afterwards, and he didn't get fired. He didn't eat all the chocolate.
He knew.
But I did learn, moderation is good in the workforce. Moderation.
That is. They probably they learned a lesson too. Don't tell the coworkers they can eat as much as they want.
Yeah.
Make a limit. You can only have 30 a day.
Good. And that was if you know what almond bark is.
No, sounds delicious.
It just came out at that time when I was there. So in 1957, almond bark was just making it through and oh boy, it was a big seller. People would line up to buy it. They have white
I think it's like, it's like chocolate and almonds, and you lay it all out, it's all crushed up.
And then white chocolate too, and it's very good. Very good.
And then you like break it up and so it looks like little chunks of it's like peanut brittle.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But it's almond and chocolate.
Yep. So
man, like a crunchy Reese's. All right. To backtrack real quick, let's hear a little bit about yourself. When were you born and all that kind of stuff?
Born, okay, in 1943. Just World War II was in its full force. And I think World War II ended in 1945. So we were, results of that. My stepfather was in World War II in Germany. And he, to have a job, the days of depression was before World War II. And everybody needed a job then. And so everybody tried to get into the army. But he had crab toes, so he couldn't get in. But then when they bombed to Japan, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, they took everybody that was breathing. So that's how my dad got into the army, even with his crab feet. And he was a mechanic, and he worked on Jeeps over in Germany.
What's a crab Crab feet.
Your toes go like this.
Okay. I
Similar.
had that too, but they called them hammer toes. So I wonder.
Oh, okay. Hammer toes. Yes, same thing. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I might even be
wonder why they
calling
changed
the
it.
same. Huh? Because his was because they had 11 or 13 kids, but they all wore each other's shoes, and his shoes were too small. And so that's what happened to his. That's how he
Oh, mine
got it.
definitely. I was definitely born with it.
Oh, you're right.
I
You
was
didn't
about to
have,
say,
you weren't poor. Yeah. So, but
I was about to
anyhow,
say, I wonder if it's genetic, but it was
I
his
know it.
stepdad.
he's not any
I
blood.
know, I know.
I totally almost said that too, but I caught myself. I was like, cool, I didn't sound like an idiot.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up and find out about it because his were bad. And I'm glad you had yours taken care of because as an old man, he could hardly walk because arthritis was in his foot.
And so they wouldn't let him join the military because of the toes.
Right.
Okay.
Until World War II broke out. And then they took everybody breathing.
And then
he
what
was-
did they call that? They called that like a flood. What did they call that? Oh my gosh, brain fart. When they bring everybody that's 18 and up. What do they call that?
A
I don't even,
draft.
Draft.
oh, the draft, right.
Was that a draft?
Right, but even in the draft, he wouldn't have made it because if you have anything wrong with you, you still won't make it in the draft. But they were picky
Oh.
about, they wanted only the best, but they took everybody. He was a good mechanic. He was
Okay.
always a very good mechanic. And he had, do you remember my dad at all? Grandpa Joe?
I do. Yeah, I
I do, I
remember.
remember.
Yeah,
He
I remember
was a
he
lot
was
of fun. He got busted to a
sweetheart.
PFC 3 times in the Army for going out and carousing and having fun.
Because let's see, I'm trying to think of how old we were when he died. I had to have been
He
like,
died in 1999. So
I
you
was
were
gonna
very
guess
little.
9 for me. Yeah, so
Okay.
that was
So
about
you would
9, 8 or
remember
9
him.
for me. Yeah.
You would remember him. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. So
Yeah. Remember he was a goofy guy, but
I'm
that's
gonna
crazy.
sneeze
That's
pretty
crazy.
soon. So
Oh no, my headphones. I don't know if I can handle it.
I know.
For those of you that okay.
Bless you.
It actually bless you, yes, it actually like calmed you down a little bit. It's much louder
Yeah.
in person. Oh man,
I think that's it.
awesome. Cool. My question is,
Okay.
I wanted to know what your first job was and how much it paid.
Yeah, bless
Well, it
you.
was at the
Bless you.
chocolate store.
Oh, okay.
And I think it
Oh wait.
paid
Oh, the
45
chocolate
cents
store.
an hour. 45 cents
45
an
cents an
hour. Now
An
my job
hour?
after that, an hour after that is when I worked at Franklin Dairy. And that was a regular soda shop. And it was, where people came in and had sodas and they sat in little chairs around and everything. And we didn't even have soft ice cream at that time. And I made 50 cents an hour there. And on my
Hold the
first,
phone.
okay, what?
Hold the phone.
50 cents.
I'm
This is blowing her
calculating.
mind. She needs to.
I need 45 cents an hour. And you
Mm.
probably didn't even work 8 hours a day.
I did at
And
Franklin Dairy. I
then
made 50
times-
cents an hour there.
Okay,
I
let's do
worked
that one.
8
Let's do
hours.
that.
Yeah.
50 cents an hour, 8 hours a day, 52
Mhm.
weeks a year. Guess how much, cousin?
How much?
A year.
Not very much.
1,200.
$208 a year.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it has to be more than that.
Nope. 50 cents times 8 is $4 times 52
0.50
weeks in a
times
year
8 equals $4. $4 a
times
day
52 weeks a year.
times
No, times
5
40
times
times 52.
Oh wait,
52
wait.
is
Times
1,000
40.
Oh.
I missed something, so messed up. Okay. Whew. Okay.
times
I'm
times
not as
5
mind blown
times
as before.
52.
Okay.
So 1,000.
Times
Yeah.
still though.
Because my first check was like $13. I thought I was
$1,000 a year.
rich. Because if I
$13.
didn't work, I would have all hand-me-down clothes.
And how old were you when you first started working?
14 at the candy store. But
8 hours a day at 14. Oh,
yeah.
at
Mm-hmm.
the candy store. Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
But my real first job was at Franklin Dairy, and I worked there after school. So that's another reason
Sure.
probably why I didn't do very well at school, because I went after school and then I worked until it closed.
I
Well,
did that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
When did
So
the
Yeah, they
child labor laws get put into place about that? I wonder.
I don't know, but is 15? You can work when you're 15, I think.
you can
You
work,
have
but
to
you
get a
have to be home
permit.
by like 9 or 10
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
past 9 or 10, which is still
Yeah.
pretty late.
It is. It is.
Yeah, because I mean, I was working at 14 too. I had part-time jobs. I was going in after school.
Yeah.
But I was probably making like your whole paycheck an hour, a $13 an hour, I think.
Right. Right. Oh,
Yeah,
but back then, on my dad, I don't know if I ever told you about this, but it was so cool. Dad would, and nobody had any money back then, but Dad would
right.
get paid on Fridays. So on Friday we had nickel day, and we each got a nickel, and we
Man,
went and
that's a
bought a
lot of
candy
money
bar for a nickel.
for a nickel.
Yeah, we had nickel day. It was so exciting on nickel day. I'll have to talk to my
Nickel
sister
day.
and brother about that because it was very exciting. Yeah. And
That's
What was your
awesome.
there's
favorite
a movie,
candies back then?
if you watch a movie called I Remember Mama,
Oh,
it's an old movie. I think Irene Dunn, I'm not sure, but they get paid and then they laid the money out, this is for the house, this is for groceries, this is for school supplies, this is for shoes, and that's all they had. And that's what Mom would do. She would, lay out the money. My mom and dad never charged anything. Never, ever.
Never
did
had
they? I was
credit or
actually,
debt.
Huh?
Never had credit cards or debt.
No, no. Well, she had to get one as she was older because she started flying and stuff like that. And then she had to
Oh,
have a credit card. But that was the only reason. But they didn't believe in debt at all. And when
good.
they asked Mom questions kind of like this, she couldn't believe how, people had credit card debt now. She couldn't believe that people bought what they can't afford because we just
Well,
didn't
now I'm
have it.
curious. Yeah, I'm curious when credit cards came about because that was probably a big money grab, like free money, pay it off later. That probably started
Googling.
Googling.
Well,
1946.
Wow.
46.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Man,
So, and that's
But
just
it
how they live.
says
were
they
they
became
interest free?
widely used after 1960.
Okay.
Okay. Because
People were
we
probably
got,
hesitant at first.
well, yeah, because you have to pay it back. But interest back then wasn't so bad. You used to be able to claim the interest that you paid on credit cards on your taxes.
What?
What?
I'd be
Yeah.
loaded.
You did,
What?
and payments on things, like if you bought a couch or something like that, you used to be able to claim that, I remember. And then that went away, and gradually everything, really all of our deductions are all taken away, and we're all doing one form now. But which reminds me, when I was little in Aberdeen, South Dakota, they would have tax collectors come to the house, and you had to pay tax for everything that you had in your house, like the refrigerator, the sofa, everything. You had to pay taxes on that. And so what we would,
Every year?
yeah. And then what we would do was we would hide things.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I'd hide a bunch of
Yeah,
I'm
we
stuff.
would hide
sure.
the sewing machine and the vacuum and anything we could hide, we hid, when the tax, and then we were all nervous, you know, that one of us
You're
kids was
like, don't
gonna
look in that closet.
Oh my gosh,
that,
how
that one of us kids was
invasive.
gonna say, yeah, we have a sewing machine. I don't know. But I just remember that very well. Mom and Dad were always very nervous about that because they were very straight people. The most honest people. The only time they were ever they didn't argue really. And their biggest argument was because they had the garage door fixed and he wouldn't send them a bill. he couldn't get the
Oh.
person that fixed the garage door to send him a bill. And Mama was saying, well, he doesn't want us to pay it. And Dad says, yes, he does. He did that for us. And that was, the really only argument that I can remember.
Yes,
Cute.
he did.
Yeah, very, very.
I'm sorry, I'm mind boggled that they would come into your home and tax you.
Yep. And the priest used to come into our home
furniture
too.
every year.
What?
The priest?
What'd he do?
The priest used to come into our home too. And Mom and Dad would be so nervous, because the priest would come into our home to make sure that we were living good Christian. One time, my dad said, he said, come on in and take off your clothes. He was so embarrassed.
You take off your shoes?
Clothes. He said, come in and take off your clothes. He meant coat.
Coat.
Oh.
But these very nervous people, because he's checking to make sure that we have a Bible and everything like that. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
So
How
I'm
funny.
horrible. I'm just thinking, like, how time consuming all this was.
I know,
well,
but
yeah.
the population in Aberdeen, South Dakota in the 1950s, I'm sure was not very high.
No,
Gosh.
and the whole church that was our life. I mean, all 5 of us kids were in St. Mary's School at the same time, at one time. And, we went to church every morning. And then it was at night we had Catholic Daughters of America, and Roger had Boy Scouts, but we were all into, Christian organizations, and then all the traditional Easter and Christmas that they had. And I played the organ for all of it. So that was our life. That was our life until I left when I was 19 even. I had a men's choir that was just wonderful. So it ended up really good, but that was what you did, because just
Wow.
different. Yeah, they would have spaghetti. They had old ladies in the church that made sandwiches for all the weddings and stuff. Those little quarter things,
Mhm.
and so it was very, very Christian, very Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely how times have changed. So actually, I wanted to jump back. So you said you played organ for all those, and I wanted to talk. Cousin, did you hear about how our grandmother, I think, is a prodigy?
No, why?
What was it? Nationals at 12 years old?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Really?
and I just remembered this. I mean, I remembered being in the national contest, and you had to play all these different songs. And where I was really good at playing the piano was you could put almost anything in front of me and I could play it. I had such great eyesight, and because but like the minute waltz, I mean, hard things I was playing at 12 years old. So they have all the, you didn't do this rest here, or you did this here. And so there was a couple of years that I did that. So after I'm gone and see national contests, I was 12 years old. And I
Oh,
started
What
playing
year would that
cool.
have been?
so 5 in the 12, let's see, what grade would I be in then?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I think 3rd.
The 7th grade. Yeah, the 7th
Oh.
grade.
But it would have been 1958.
Yeah. Because I started playing the organ for mass, for Requiem Mass every day when I was 10. So in the 5th grade. So that's how I've been playing the organ since then, every day. Go to church, play every day. That was fun. They had that pipe organ, that big old pipe organ in St. Mary's Church. It was just beautiful. Just, oh, no sound like it. No sound like it. But I had really forgotten about it. And so my piano is the love of my life. I mean, that really is my go-to for everything.
I love that.
That's
We
amazing.
used to um, cousin Shaw and I have a funny story about that.
What?
She,
Well, wait, first,
um,
so hold on.
oh,
First,
okay,
before that
okay.
story, I currently live in grandma's basement. And so she has a piano upstairs, and my room is right below that piano. And so she plays all the time, and it's like the best thing. I'm like, I tell everybody to shut up and I turn off my music so that I can listen to her play piano. And it's my favorite thing. Okay, now tell your story.
Before cousin lived in the basement, there was somebody else living in the basement. Everybody's always living in grandma's basement. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
family friend in the basement. And cousin was house sitting for him. And so she was downstairs and she was in the bed or whatever. And I had just gotten back from my dad's side of the family reunion or whatever. So I came over to visit her. And it was really early, so we were both laying in the bed. And then grandma started playing piano. So we're both wiggling in bed and like dancing, and
Well,
the
she
bed
plays the
broke.
boogie woogie song. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
She
yeah,
plays the boogie woogie song. So we were like literally going like that, and
like
we broke the
wiggling.
bed.
We broke the bed. All of a sudden, the bed fell. And okay,
Oh.
in our defense, it was being held up by a bicycle tire.
Oh.
So
No, the rim, just the rim, not the tile. Like
just the
there was
rim,
no.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
had all those
But we
Schwinn
told,
bikes down there.
Yes.
but
Yes.
we definitely we broke the bed because we were dancing to the boogie woogie on your
Well,
piano.
that's bragging stuff right there.
Well, honestly, I feel like it was that day that I became obsessed with you playing piano upstairs. So, anyways, I keep so it's that same room that I'm staying in now that we did this when we were like, what, 16? Something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. I'm glad you like my piano because I am right above your bed.
It's
I
the
love it.
best.
And even like my mom says it all the time too. My dad, obviously before their divorce and everything,
Uh-huh.
but he would sit outside if he heard you playing piano, just sit at the front porch,
Um,
because he didn't want to interrupt you. And so
oh.
he would just sit there and listen to you. And my mom said it's because he was so jealous because he had fat sausage fingers and he couldn't play the piano.
Oh.
So he just loved listening to you. And I'm like, that's so cute and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
That's so sad. He totally does have sausage fingers.
He totally
Uh, that's,
does.
that's good to hear. He's such a
Donate.
wonderful young man. I just adore him.
Yeah.
I know if
Yeah.
I needed something, he would be here right now. He
Okay,
would put up
random
with my
question.
old ladiness what?
Your old
Whatever. He
old
would enjoy
ladiness.
your old ladiness.
I enjoy your old ladies. Okay, so what, maybe you specifically, what did you get in trouble for back in grade school?
Ooh, I was a mean little kid. Ooh,
That's where you get it
let me
from,
see.
cousin.
Ever.
Maybe,
I was an
because
angel.
I love to see. I used to
Grandma
trip
gets
people.
it.
I used to trip people
Okay,
You're
yeah,
walking
we're
still
not
down
that bad.
the hallway. I'd trip them. Here's
whatever,
the
cousin.
best
You
story.
pinched people.
Here's the best story. Um, because I was mean. And okay, in the seventh grade, we had a teacher and she got a nun and she got laryngitis. So we got Sister Louise in, and she was very old and she couldn't see all the way to the back of the room, which is where I was sitting. And so she was there for 2 weeks. And what I would do is break up my colors into little pieces and then with a rubber band, throw them at people. So I was hitting people
Come
with my
on.
little colors the whole 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And then so I think the nun that came back, I think her name was Sister Anne. And so she came back and Father Ortmeyer came with her and he says, I'm so glad to tell you that Sister Anne is back now and I want to thank Sister Louise for helping out during these 2 weeks. And then he says, may I see everybody's colors?
Busted. Oh,
I didn't have any colors. And then Father Ortmeyer and I, again, we spent much time. There was a little library. And he said, hey, why do you do these things?
I mean, like,
You
God just
are a
made
little
me this way.
stinker.
It was really fun because I don't think anybody knew who was doing it. How could they not? Well, the kids behind by me did, but I don't remember that. But But I did get so busted. I'll just never forget that. Oh, crap.
Oh, that's funny. You're like, I'm outsmarting them, and they're like, no, not quite.
I have to think. I was mostly, oh, there was one nun. Well, it's kind of a sad story. She didn't like me though in the 8th grade. And I was sitting like this, and she told me to kneel down because I was being disrespectful. And I
Oh,
refused to
because you
kneel
had your
down.
elbow on the desk?
I was just sitting like that. She thought, so I refused to sit down, to kneel down. And then, so I had to go in the cloakroom because I refused to kneel down because I wasn't being disrespectful. I was bullheaded. And then, so I had to go in the cloakroom. You guys probably don't even know what that is.
No.
It's where we kept our coat. It was a long room where we all had little hangers and we put our coats on them.
So it's a closet. Okay.
The cloakroom.
Okay.
And so I was in there, and I found a ball in somebody's pocket, and so I was bouncing against the wall. And she came in and hit her in the head, and then she started hitting on me, and she really got me good. But I
Oh,
went
man.
home, and Mom stood up for me. Mom came back and
Good.
she told that nun, she said, don't you
Oh,
ever
good.
touch my daughter again.
That's mind-boggling to me though, because like obviously this day and age, teachers and staff don't get to touch children like that, and
Right. And it's as
more
it
so
should be.
even
They
after
shouldn't be
COVID.
allowed to touch kids. They should win. They should
Yeah.
make up mind, but never
Yeah.
that. She was mean. And then I had her in the 9th grade too, but she never did touch me after that. And I was a bad student, so it wasn't all their fault. I never did homework. Never did. Well, Colette, my one friend, who I rode bicycles with, she made me learn my spelling and my arithmetic, or she wouldn't ride her bike with me. So I did
Oh,
learn the spelling and the arithmetic. She was a very good friend.
hey, but
Colette.
look at that. She did it with incentives, like good incentives instead of
Yeah.
punishments.
Yeah. So thank heaven,
Genius.
because you have to learn, to read and write and spell and arithmetic and everything like that. So she was a very good
So
friend.
how much like homework did you guys have back in the day? Because I know that's a big complaint with kids nowadays is they have so much homework.
I don't know, because I never did it.
Oh, that's true. You never did it. Okay. Okay.
No. And then, like in high school, we went to a public high school. Well, I had learned most stuff that the high school had to teach in the grade school, because the nuns really made you learn it. But, at history and geography, I just stink. I just
Me too.
one of the
Same.
questions, Colette laughed at this all the time. One of the questions she asked was, what is the Panama Canal made up of? And my answer was water and steel. Water and
I mean,
But I was a
water, you're not
bad,
wrong.
I did. I was a bad student,
Hey, I mean that's just like a perfect. Well, that's a true answer.
but I did learn. If I would have been in school nowadays, I would have never been amounted to anything, because they let people that are not good just slide by. They just push them by, but that's not true
We
in
were just
Catholic
talking about
schools.
that the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
yeah,
Because the teachers
Brother's
literally,
one
they
of
just
them.
want, yeah. And he said it
right,
too. He was like, they just pushed me through because they didn't want me to be there anymore.
right,
He's like, I was
right.
failing and they just pushed me on through. And he's like, I
Mhm.
completely failed 7th grade. And he did have to retake. I feel like they're making the high school deal with it more. Because they have to get a certain amount of passing credits to get out of high school, but like middle school, they just don't even care. And grade school's pretty easy, it's mostly playing and coloring and learning how to work in a classroom, but like middle school, they just
Yeah,
push,
but
push,
some
push.
kids are graduating and don't even know how to read.
I know.
If you can't read, you can't do anything.
Well,
How
and
is that
it's,
Well,
possible?
and now AI is making it even harder.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
but it's
So,
crazy. Like even as an adult now, I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I was the same as you, Grim. I could not history and geometry were my two things.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
geography, but geometry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was bad at geography and history. I was good at
I was
geometry though.
And
I was great
now,
at algebra. I could not do geometry for some reason. It
Ooh, I
just like
liked
was not
algebra
clicking
oh,
in
too.
my head.
yeah. But now I can't get enough of history and
Yeah,
geography.
exactly. That's why I
That's what I
love it.
do most of my days. I listen and I learn and I try and understand.
Hmm
But it's hard because there's so much history.
hmm
Well, like for instance, like I've been toggling back and forth on homeschooling my kid or not, but like I'm learning so much doing stuff with him. Like when he was in kindergarten, now I wish I would have paid attention better. But when he was in kindergarten, he learned the see now I don't even know what they're called. The what is Antarctica and Africa and
The continents.
The continents?
continents. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
so he learned the
Okay.
7 continents in
Oh,
kindergarten. And
yeah.
again, I wish I would have paid more attention. But then in first grade, he learned all the 50 states. And so, like, I remember my 50 states song and his song was different, but now I can sing his 50 state song. And so, like, I'm learning the states again. It's
Wow.
like, so,
Wow.
I mean, those are
That's a
just
lot for
tiny.
is his age.
Yeah.
Hmm
Yeah.
I
I
love
swear
it.
I learned the states many, many years later. But yeah, he learned it. He learned it in
Right.
first grade. And then like when he's going through math and that kind of stuff, I'm like, it's actually helping me get quicker at math because he's supposed to learn those quick calculations right now. That's their main goal. Um,
Right.
instead of having to calculate every single time, just automatically know 40 minus 20 type thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, so anyways, I'm learning so much. So I'm like, now I'm like, I want to homeschool him again so that I can learn because same thing.
You're
I'm
getting it.
more
Yes,
excited to learn.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm more excited to learn now than I was when it's forced upon you.
I
You've
agree.
grown up. You've grown up.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
true.
there was one thing that I wanted to have you bring up though about it wasn't really school related, but it was about you being a, a tomboy, really, is what it was. But
Yeah.
what you did with the bucket and your hair,
Oh,
that's one of my favorite stories.
I was probably three, 3 years old or four, maybe.
3. Wow, I pictured you so much older. I mean, not so much.
Uh-uh. I was
A bit
little. I've
older.
always been bullhead. I mean, I'll do it my way and I'll suffer the consequences, but don't tell me how to do it because I won't. But Aunt Lou was when Shirley Temple was so popular with the curls in her hair.
Hmm
So she curled my hair like that, and I told her I didn't want it. So she did it, and they had big big brain barrels, almost I remember I could hardly even get my head in there, but it was as tall as I was at the time, and I put my head in the rain bucket after she did that, and I was in big trouble with her. But mom fired her and didn't let her watch me anymore because I didn't want those curls in my. Mom always had my back. You know it.
Good. I love
You
that.
really, yeah, yeah. She
And
really
that matters
did.
to a kid, man.
What a
Yeah,
good mom. I
yeah.
miss
She
her.
was. She was
Gotta
a great
protect your
mom.
kids.
5 kids. Oh my, five
Oh yeah.
kids.
She had to
Yeah.
have patience of an angel. Oh my gosh.
She always hated school to start because we had to always have school supplies, and we were always poor. I mean, that's why I'm so frugal, because we just really didn't have anything. So we saved, we used everything, and that's really why I don't like to really waste anything. It's from that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the. And then I got stuck. She told us not to play in the mud in the yard, and I got stuck. I was very little then. And then she was coming after me and I ran away from her, but I couldn't cross the street, so I had to stop and she caught me. But I remember
Cute.
that. I don't know how old I was, maybe again 3 or 4, but Roger was with me and he didn't get stuck in the mud, but I did. So pretty little.
That's adorable still.
Yeah. It was fun growing up with 5 brothers and sisters. I mean, you have a lot of freedom because they're
Yeah.
so busy with everything else, which I tell all the time. You don't have it. You can't get away with anything. With
I
the
know.
5 of us, we could get away with everything.
Only kids, it's like it's easy to watch you with 2 eyes. It's hard to watch 5 kids with 2 eyes.
Yeah.
He's a good boy, though. He's a wonderful. He brings a lot of joy to 3 ladies
Yeah,
that
to
I know.
you. No, I'm just kidding.
He does. He comes up in the mornings, and I just, it's a joy, and I know to appreciate it too.
Grandma, what kind of stories did you want to talk about? That's what I wanted to bring up.
Well, I don't think a lot of you know that I was a Minuteman.
What's that?
What is that?
It, in the days of the Revolution, they were the ones that
Oh.
fought the British. And
What?
it still is an organization. And I was a member of it. And what we did here, I did computer stuff, kept track of people's names, and so we could send them emails about what was going on and everything. But what we did here was a wonderful, wonderful cause, because people coming across the border, it's always been a problem. I always want to make the world better. I really do. And people coming across the border, those poor women and children and people that didn't have any water, they would be raped and everything like that. But some of the people in the Minuteman group that I was in went down to the border with water, and they couldn't, help, all they could do was help them and give them water. They didn't have any guns or anything like that. They just, like, when they came across and they were so in such dire needs, they could, help them a little bit. And I think they were the most wonderful people. And then and I just did the computer stuff. I was probably a Minuteman for a couple of years. And what happened to the organization is the stakes were high. The stakes were always high in politics and government. I mean, people have their beliefs, and they started fighting among each other. It dissolved. And I was sorry to hear that, because they did so much good. It was so
Yeah.
brave of them to go down there with their motorhomes. They would just stay there and wait and help people. So,
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Okay, so there are 3 more stories that I want to hear from you.
Okay.
One of them is the you were talking about your childhood doctor,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just blown away by the
Yeah,
bartering.
right. Right, because people are starting to do it now more. Dr. Keegan, she was a female doctor, and they just lived in a little apartment. And a female doctor back in those days was unheard of. And there was a Walgreens back there, and her office was up above there, and she lived in a little apartment. I'm trying to think if it was in the same place, but her husband was dying. So Roger and I would watch her husband while she was at work in his last days, and we would read him books. And oh, he was such a nice
Wow.
man. And
Aw.
and then she would come home, and then so it was like we were kind of paying, because Mom, before she passed, she said, I don't think I ever got a bill from Dr. Keegan. And this doctor,
Really?
yeah, she gave birth to all 5 of us kids. Knew Mom, back when she was married to, my father. And then so all 5 of us kids, all the little bangs and booms and everything, and the polio shots came out, and she gave us those, all of us, for nothing. Mom never did get a bill from her. And then Roger and I would get to sterilize her equipment. It was just play. I mean, she was just being kind. She was a saint. She was a saint. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, what a cool to be a female doctor, already trying to like push your way through that whole field, and then to help a family with 5 children and never send them a bill. It's
Right.
incredible to me.
I
I
wonder.
think you should try to find her family, and
Oh.
let them know.
Hmm.
but I know that's a whole task that you would have
There's
to.
a thought because I wonder how many other, you know what? Because there are people my age and we have like a thread for, you're from Aberdeen if. I wonder if
Mhm.
other people had her as a doctor.
Oh, I
I
bet
bet,
you.
I wonder if she billed anybody.
I I mean, only the ones she didn't like, probably.
I don't think she ever did not like anybody. Maybe, I don't know. But it was up in
So
Walgreens
cool.
and every time she would give us a shot, I'd wake up, Dad would be carrying me out to the car because I fainted every time I got a shot.
Oh my God.
It
Oh,
was
poor
fun
grandma.
sterilizing and stuff. I mean, you've seen like in antique places, the tools that they had in those days in the 40s, in the
Hmm.
in the early 50s, they were just like, but we got to sterilize them and she was so wonderful. Gosh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if anybody else, because I tell you, when I worked at Franklin Dairy, and this is just recently that this happened. There were two boys there, two young boys. I was 15, they were 11. I just found out. They were 4 years younger than me. And they were the nicest, most cordial boys, and I always knew that they would be somebody someday. So just in the last week, got in touch with them, and
Cool.
one of them, he he's very successful. I want to hear more, but I don't want to be a pain. But he remembers me, and he said both of them had a crush on me.
Oh, I mean, I always knew we had a hot grandma.
I was 15, but and they were
So
they
she
helped me with the
was even
bottles and everything,
hotter.
Karen, and with dairy at Franklin Dairy, and they were so nice, and so, but he has have you heard of Ben Mirror Raceway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows him personally. He has
Oh,
two hot rods and a Henry 51, which is a big deal. Very, very wealthy, very well to do. And the other one turned out to be a disc jockey and is very prominent and lives in Grants Pass, Oregon. I haven't talked to him yet though, but they both a musician and a motorhead, it's just like it was so cool talking to him. But I don't know how
that's
come I get
cool.
off on that tangent, but
Well,
just
either
people.
way, we love
Because
it.
you just talked, yeah, you just talked about him. You just
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
reconnected
So,
with them. So that's cool.
mhm.
All right. Well, the two other stories I want to hear are the ones that I think are crazy interesting about your job. Well, one is about job and then one is about another thing. But the job that you used to work where they just totally, I mean, I know that there's probably a few, but disrespected you as a female. You said it was in a warehouse, I think, and you went to your supervisor to tell him that one of the men there was treating you
Mhm.
inappropriately. And it just blows my mind how they responded. So I'll let you
Okay.
start over.
This was in, I'll let you know the year because we had just moved out here. So in approximately 1980, so not
Which
that long
wasn't that long
ago.
ago.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. But it was, I went to work as a key punch operator for C.A. Norgren Company. And it was a manufacturing company. So they had the office and me as a key punch operator, and then they had the factory. And there was this one supervisor, it was only me there at night. And there was this one supervisor, and he would, come in and talk to me and sit on the chair and say, obscene things and everything like that. And then so I locked the door, and then he would stand at the door and make vulgar gestures to me and everything. I was only there and I worked until 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I put paper over the window, and my boss made me take the paper down.
So
I had to
That
quit
is
that
so
job.
crazy.
I had to quit that job because
Yeah,
I'm
they
when
proud
told
of
me
you.
that's
somebody's
just the
treating
way
you
it
that.
is. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
So
proud of you too.
yeah, I've had to quit so many jobs because of things like that. Even Publishers Clearinghouse, I worked for that for a little while, and that was in 1969. And there was my supervisor. He just put a lot of pressure on me, and again, I was alone working late. It was hard in those days working till 2 o'clock in the morning with little kids, but And he wanted me, to do like body painting with him and stuff like that, so it was,
Oh.
I know it was really hot, but I was, but I had to quit that job because I would never do that. I
You know
had
what's
to
so
quit
Right.
that
crazy
job
though?
too.
Like it's cool that you recognize that those were wrong, that you deserve better.
Oh
Because like
yeah.
back in the day when that's allowed and it's like you have to deal with it as a woman or whatever, like
Mhm.
how else would you have known that that was not polite, like not proper? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Well,
Like
raised a
if
Catholic, you know
oh,
it's
okay.
wrong.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So I would never, I mean, it's just not in my DNA to ever be unfaithful or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that.
Gosh.
And
Well, and I
then,
know like this
and
probably sounds naive, but I just can't fathom something like that happening nowadays, or like not being able to go to HR about it, that kind of stuff.
right.
And I'm
Right.
sure that people will say that there absolutely are, and I believe that. Like I believe that it still happens nowadays, but it's just so far and few between. And back then, I
Right.
feel like this was like happening to every female in the workforce, is how I just
I
picture
think it
it. It
was.
is
I think
terrible.
it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Well, even, after the chocolate debacle, I had another job, and it was working at a bowling alley as a waitress. And there was a old man there that, just wanted to talk to me about filthy things, sex and everything like that. And I told my boss, and he told me I had to listen to it. So I had to quit
Gross,
that
man.
job. I mean,
Yeah.
that was your only
Yeah.
way of getting around it, was quitting, and I think it
Right.
happened to everybody, so
Yeah.
better days now.
And
It
then you just
really
have to
is.
keep,
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so my last thing that I want to hear about, which I think is also crazy, is when you guys tried to buy a house in California
Right. Right. And we couldn't because I was of childbearing age.
of childbearing
What?
age. Do you believe that? Like they were like, no, you can have a kid
What?
right now,
Yep.
so no.
Yep. Yep. That's what they said.
That's
I
so
said, but I have
stupid.
worked since I've been 15 years old, full time. That had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? That's like imagine that. So obviously like now we have all the equal property
Rights and
acts and
stuff.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
but imagine that being put on there. Like that was something that had to be demolished or
Right.
abolished,
I wonder if
abolished,
anybody
Abolish,
else
whatever.
remembers that.
abolish.
If I wonder if that happened to anybody else, because this would have had to been before 1980. So no, before 1970. I beg your pardon. I think
Well,
63 to 70. The publishers clearing the CA Norgren, that would be in the early 70s that happened, not in the 80s. I'm getting my years mixed up because
Oh,
we
how
moved
could
to.
you get your years mixed up?
There were
how
so many
dare
of them.
you?
I know, but we had moved here, and that was my first job, was CA Norgren. So that was like in 70. So that's a big difference between
Wow.
70 and 80. Trying to think if anything happened to me in 1980. No, because I was working for the city of Aurora then, and it was good. There was not that in the city of Aurora. It's a very great place to work.
It said in the early 1970s, it was not uncommon for a woman to be denied a mortgage or have her income discounted by lenders if she was of childbearing age. That had
Yeah.
to have been in the 70s. I wonder
Yeah.
when that got rid the when it got
When they got rid of that.
oh,
When?
it literally was just at the year my mom was born, 1974.
Okay.
That's when the act got placed.
Okay.
Equal credit opportunity.
And then you just think, what? But you just didn't have any recourse, Normal
Right.
people didn't have any
Gosh.
How
recourse.
do you fight that?
You know, you know. And
Oh,
thank heaven for
that's
women's lib, they just sometimes they go too far, but thank heaven for women's lib because that's ended a lot of that stuff.
yeah.
A lot
I
of it
just
was true.
It's just so crazy to me the things you lived through, Grandma.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because they're like unheard of for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that would never. Like it blows my mind.
Yeah.
And
It
that's why
was
it's stories like this that I always kind of like roll my eyes at the things that people complain about, you know. Um,
Right.
mhm.
and I'm like, but then you hear about like what people actually went through, and then you're like, oh my gosh, my anxiety is taking over my life. Like,
Exactly. That's what I think too. I think just like, belly up to the bar. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much room to talk because I moved out of my whole entire house because of a bug, but I work hard, so
Well,
there's
the
that.
fear is real.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You get
That's
teased
so
a lot
good.
about that. Do you get
No, I think I make fun of myself more than anything because it's ridiculous sounding. But in my defense, I
It
feel
was a
like
scary
I know
bug.
the people listening probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But
Oh,
it was a very traumatic time in my life. We had the foster children, we had all this stuff going on. My husband quit his job, and I think that I moved out of my house because of a scorpion, by the way, the bug I'm talking about.
The scary
Um,
bug.
it is a scary bug, and they're poisonous,
Okay.
and I just couldn't
Okay.
do it. So, anyway, I feel like that was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, no, we're done. Like, we're done here. I have to move. We're out. And that is what happened. But I do totally make fun of myself because I moved out of my house because of a bug.
I just like how
Whatever.
you say it.
always remember that.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have since moved past it. Well,
Well, that was all
Grandma,
the
is
questions
there,
I had.
yeah, I was gonna ask if there was anything else you wanted to share with us.
Oh, I had one more question, but I want to
But,
hear what you say. No, you
but
go first. You go first. Do you have anything else that you wanted to
I
add?
was trying to think of something. There was it was so much fun growing up in Aberdeen, driving up and down Main Street. The boys would whistle at us. You guys would have loved it.
Ooh. I
That's,
consider moving there a lot of the times, honestly.
well, I might go
But
with you.
Why to get
I'm,
yeah.
whistled at? Oh.
No, I mean,
um,
well, yeah, that'll boost the self-esteem. But
well,
no,
can
just
I
because
tell a
it
story
feels
about your grandpa?
sure.
Let's hear
Okay.
it.
We were drinking one night. We drank a lot. And
Grandma.
I know, before we were married.
Traumatized.
And he had his old Chevy. And I said to him, let me drive. He says, you've had too much to drink. And he says, no, I haven't. And he said, watch me, the little cones, the barrels with, on the side of the road. He
Mhm.
said, watch me just like tip that barrel over. So he ran into it with his car. Well, it was loaded with sand. So he bashed in the front end of his car. And then I said, let me drive. He says, no, 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 I'm okay. So we went out to Melgard Park. You might even know where that's at, not Wiley Park, Melgard Park. And then he says, there's a little circle out there with little posts all along there. So he went around there, pretty fast, and then boom, 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 crashed up the rear end of his car.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
This is so funny. And
He's
then
like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
he sheepishly just got out of the car and walked to the passenger side. That's one of the things. When I'm feeling a little sad, I think about that because it was so funny.
Uh,
That's not about me,
Oh
that's
but
wait,
it's
good.
about him. But
that just reminded me
I
of something about you, though.
yeah, I was,
How?
I was very an activist until, I don't know if you know this story or not, but we were Evie Hudak, a senator in Arvada, was trying to take our guns from us. So I was, had my little sign in Arvada, and I was walking on the street, and I had my shirt. I still have that shirt. And recall Evie Hudak because she was trying to take our guns, and we succeeded, by the way. But somebody threw a beer bottle at me, a glass beer bottle at me.
Oh.
Yeah, and I didn't like that, and I says, I don't really want to die, so I don't do that stuff anymore. But I
Okay.
Fair.
still am very interested in everything that's going on. But what I want to say is, our politicians and the people that are making a difference in our life, everybody appreciate them because it's very scary out there with all the people and
Mhm.
everything. And if I have one message, it's just like, appreciate the work that they do, and because they're in danger. There's nuts out there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, it
yeah,
is terrifying. Well, I'm
that's
happy
kind
you
of
didn't
heavy.
die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No beer bottles being thrown at you anymore.
No beer bottles. No beer bottles.
Yeah, that's
Good.
crazy.
So,
It's
What was
crazy,
your
but it's
thing,
not
cousin?
surprising.
right. There's a lot of
I
hate out there.
know.
Yeah. But
Oh, I was gonna have her explain how she got the nickname Wrong Way, Kay. Didn't you end
oh,
up in a field?
I did. I did. I'm always going the wrong way in California. We didn't have GPS back then, but I'd say which way home, and she'd tell me which way to go.
And
I
she
don't
was
have
right.
yeah, yeah, she had a sense of direction. I do not. But
That's where my son
we
gets
were
it.
going back south to Aberdeen from California, and I was driving, and it was raining cats and dogs, and it said detour. So I detoured, and then it was all muddy, and there were cows all around, and I was in the middle
Oh,
of pasture, and I couldn't find my way out, so I had to wake up, tell him that we were in a pasture, and I don't know how I
In the
got there,
middle of a
but
pasture.
so he
Cracking
will
me up.
never let me live that one down.
that's why you hold on to his drunk story.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
one more question for you.
Okay.
What do you remember about your grandparents?
My grandmother. Oh man, I haven't thought about her for so long. She would just one was mean. My
Oh,
dad's
okay.
my dad's mom was mean. She was very mean. And so I won't talk about her
Okay.
because she was a
We'll talk
person.
about the good one.
But mom's was just like mom. She
Oh.
was she had, I get them confused, 11 or 13 kids,
Wow.
and we would go out there and there'd be, all people there all the time, just a lot of people all the time. And she would always make sure that every kid was taken care of. And she had a great big table, with a bench there and everything. And she would give us these little boxes of cereal. I still look for those to have them for the
Mhm.
grandkids, but I don't think they make them anymore, do they?
They do like for traveling. They have some.
Yeah,
Like
A
I
so
was
she
long
just
would pour
time.
milk in them there, and then she would always make
oh,
sure.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she was just so kind. She died, I think she was only like 65, of
Oh,
a heart attack. So you girls be careful. That is part of your genetics, and bad hearts do run in that side of the family. So
as I'm drinking coffee.
so coffee is okay, but your heart's a muscle, so you need to just like beware of
Work
that.
it out.
Yeah, but she's the one that told me, she said, because we were fighting over some toy. There's always fighting going on with all those kids. And she said, okay, now I want you to imagine yourself, you have all the toys that you possibly want. You have a beautiful home, you have a beautiful car, you have everything you want. And then I was really thinking that would be wonderful. And then she said, now imagine yourself all alone and what matters? Nothing.
That's
That's
true.
so true.
And I have
I
always
was
remembered that.
I
Yeah.
was more
Wow.
dramatic about that, but
You were
I
more
did that
dramatic.
similar thing. Yeah, with
You would
my
do more
little
things.
siblings. Well, so when my dad got remarried and he had two more kids, so I was 14 and 16 when they were born. So by the time they were little toddlers, I was still a pubescent butthole. But
Uh-huh.
I was babysitting them and they were fighting about something stupid. And I remember I turned around in my car and I was like, it's like, you guys need to be nice to each other. What if the other one died right now? And they were like 5 and 7.
Oh.
And they just like looked at each other and they stopped arguing. And so I like,
You're
Well,
like,
I'm
it
glad that
worked.
was the reaction.
yeah, they stopped arguing. They're like, I don't know. And I'm like, then be nice.
I know.
So your grandma was a lot nicer than me.
Oh, she was, oh gosh, she was, my mom
So
said
she
she
would
was,
have been our great great grandma, right? Because it was great grandma, her mom. Yeah, great
yes,
great.
yes,
Okay,
I'm your grandma, great, and the great great grandma, but
great.
she was, gosh, yeah, the best.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good to end it on a high note, because that's a very high
Yeah.
note. She was the best.
And you should think about her more often. Put that
I
in your little
should.
to-do list. Yeah.
I should. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, cousin, what's our quote of the day?
It's an anonymous or an unknown quote, or like, so we don't know the author, but it said, "The memories of a grandmother last a lifetime." And I mean, look at you, just remembered your grandmother. And now we're
Mhm.
going to remember all these stories from our grandmother.
Yeah.
And
Heck
I
yeah.
totally believe that.
You
Well,
do
it's true.
remember them.
Yeah. It's surprising what you remember, especially like, you didn't even know I was going to ask you that question. You're like, oh wow, and then this memory came back to you, and
Right. Oh, that was the best.
it matters and it sits with you.
And
Awesome.
another
Well,
thing, I'm looking at my notes here. The 5 of us all had our tonsils out at the same time.
like the same day?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, how miserable were your
And when
parents?
somebody would get the measles, usually Roger would catch it. Then they would have him contaminate us, so we would all get the measles and get them over with. Same with
We
chicken
did that
pox
with chickenpox. Yeah, we had the chickenpox party.
and the mumps. So all of
Okay.
those
Yeah,
diseases, the mumps were the worst.
measles and
mumps.
mumps, we get vaccines now.
Yeah.
For,
Chickenpox now
but
too.
oh, that's true.
good.
Chickenpox
Chickenpox
new,
is a
but
bugger. Remember when your mom had them?
my mom,
Yeah, had them.
yeah, she had him. Well, she had him. I remember she had him when we all had them. I think the only one that
Yeah.
didn't get them was like one of my brothers, and um, and she had them really bad. But I remember her. She always complains when we talk about it. She always complains because I'm dramatic. I don't know if you guys know that about that. But I had like 2 or 3 pox, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so miserable." And I'm like, she was an adult when she got them.
Yeah,
And
I
so it
heard
was
it's worse
extra
when you're an
miserable.
adult.
Oh, she
Yeah, and
was
then
miserable.
she's gotten shingles since then as well, which is also
Oh,
horrible. She had them on
Yeah.
her
poor
face.
thing.
She had the shingles on her face.
Now you can get shots for them, which I did. You don't want to
Yep.
get, that stuff. So
Yeah. Icky.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had it. I remember my brother and I had it, and grandma would let us, we ran through the sprinklers because we were so miserable. We were walking,
Right. At
we were
Dalton.
walking home. Yep. And
At
at the elementary
Dalton.
school, we were walking by, they
Oh.
had the sprinklers going, and we ran through them. But I found out, so I only had chickenpox on my thumb, the thumb that I sucked. I was a thumb sucker. And I remember that was miserable.
And did you stop sucking on your thumb because of it?
Probably not.
Oh,
I
you
probably just switched to the
scratched
other
it.
thumb.
You're probably just like
Whatever. Just gnawing on my
Yeah.
thumb.
Oh,
Same
you
thing.
guys. You guys were pretty sick. I felt sad for you. And you couldn't really play with the other kids.
Yeah, they sent you to
it's a
school and
bummer.
everything. That would
Yeah.
suck.
Well, the problem is
Gosh.
that what I remember is that I got them only on my thumb, and then I found out as an adult I never actually got the vaccine or whatever for getting them because I didn't get them enough. Because it was only in that one little tiny area, so I ended up needing to get the vaccine when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had to wait until after I was done being pregnant and all this stuff. But yeah, I had to go get the vaccine because apparently it showed on my blood test that I never got chickenpox, and I was like, that's a lie. I did have them, but it was such a small area. Yeah, it was such a small area.
I'm glad that they
no,
can give
no.
shots because that's miserable. They're
Mhm.
miserable.
I
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
remember being miserable. I've just been told I was miserable. So, but
Well, if you
Just
only
been
I
have
also-
told you were
three-
dramatic.
yeah, I also know I'm dramatic, so I definitely believe that that's true. So,
Yeah.
well, Grandma, thanks for coming on here with us. This was wonderful.
Well, this has been, nothing, it's good. It's good. Good
Well, and
memory.
if there's anything else that you ever want to be like, oh my gosh, this would be so cool to talk about on their podcast, we'll have you back.
All right.
Yeah.
You just let
We can have
I
a whole
think we pretty
podcast
much
on
covered
music.
my 81 years now,
But it doesn't
Well,
even have to be about, it could be about anything, like, I don't know, whatever you want.
Okay. All right. If I think of something, because there was just a lot. Yeah. So
Awesome.
well, Grandma, 81 years of life, there's going to be a lot. We barely scratched the surface.
yeah.
And that's a good
I
thing.
know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love you
And
guys.
you still have life to live too, so
I do.
20
do
more
it.
years, you said.
We'll do a follow-up podcast
20.
in a couple years.
20. And then we'll renegotiate. Because I see some 100-year-olds
We'll
and I don't want to be like
renegotiate.
that. I want to be walking around and stuff when I'm 100 years old.
I swear there was like I'm gonna say the wrong age. I swear there was like a 90-year-old that was still like bicycling every day. So you could make it
Could
happen.
be. Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
I
for
mean,
it.
there are so many stories out there of like 90-year-olds doing like wasn't one in the Olympics or something for I guess
Maybe
I
that's
think
what I'm
that there was
thinking of.
Oh,
and she was like 90 years old, like running or something or doing gymnastics.
Oh.
I don't remember, but it was crazy. I mean, you can do it, and good
No,
thing you do yoga.
Yeah, I remember
I
a
do
male
yoga.
bicycler that was doing a around the world trip or whatever in his
Oh,
90s.
Yeah.
wow.
My gosh, I can't even imagine.
And people were
Yeah,
like
motion is
stalking him
lotion.
and giving him
Yeah.
water and stuff. Which is
Yeah.
cool.
That's very cool. I do
Awesome.
love you guys. Thank
We
you.
love you. Please remember to like, follow, and comment to connect with us. We are now on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook pages. Just search Calling Cousins. We love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice.